What's going on, everyone? My name is Max. What I do on this channel is I look at all different types of people's communication skills and I give you my thoughts. Today we're going to be checking out Priyanka Chopra. I don't think I've ever seen her before. I do know that she dated or is dating, married, I don't know, to Nick Jonas. I saw some comments from people asking if I could react to her, so I will. And if you've been here before and you've been looking at my videos and you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do that. It means a lot. Other than that, I appreciate you being here. Let's get into the video today. Very first time checking out Priyanka. Fierce.
I feel so bad for that guy. You crushed his dreams.
Oh no, he's used to, everyone here is used to the abuse. And just so everyone knows, they abuse me more than I abuse anyone in this office. They throw food at me.
No.
Sometimes they lock me out. Yeah.
See, my assistants, do you hear that?
Right away, she's giving off a lot of confidence. Just the way she walked to her chair. She was very deliberate in her movements. The second she sat down, Chelsea Handler, being a very talkative person, I've seen her before, the second Priyanka sits down, she actually initiates the conversation.
I feel so bad for that guy.
And she just seems like a very expressive person with her movements. Her energy is loud and positive, and you really feel her presence off the bat.
Teleprompter, because of the sun in your eyes.
Yeah,
couldn't read anything.
No, couldn't read. There's a big prompter and we're just like,
It really was. I had my papers in my hand, but I couldn't read a thing.
Did you
I winged it.
You did? Did you memorize your stuff beforehand?
I just remembered the important stuff, and the rest of it was just like whatever.
Right, okay, yeah.
But you had to be on stage for 7 minutes or some such.
I wonder if she is a little nervous, because I did notice she was sort of like breaking eye contact with Chelsea in like a slightly awkward way.
That teleprompter, because of the sun in your eye.
I mean, listen, you can be confident and still feel a little nervous or a little awkward. You can still present yourself socially as a confident person, but still have glimpses. Like, it's not black or white. But I will say with Priyanka, when she speaks, she's using her gestures almost every time she expresses a new word or a new point.
I just remembered the important stuff.
Right, so she's accompanying her words with gestures. It's something I've noticed off the bat is she's almost using her gestures as a way to further emphasize what she's saying. And that could be part of why people find Priyanka really engaging.
And we look up and the clock said 7 minutes and 44 seconds. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But Hugh Jackman, it's his thing, so I was like, you go. I'll back you up, but I am not doing it like a stand-up performance for this crowd.
I love how Chelsea's interviewing Priyanka here, but she's doing the majority of the talking so far. So Priyanka seems to be a good listener as well. It doesn't seem to be making it or caring to make it about her. And even 30 seconds ago, Priyanka actually purposely turned the conversation over to Chelsea.
But you had to be on stage for 7 minutes or some such.
While Chelsea's speaking, you can see look at her body language. She's leaned in slightly as a way to show Chelsea that she's interested, engaged, and listening to her.
It was awesome.
So tell me about you. So you came to the United States for school, but you grew up in India. In what part of India?
Well, I was at that time living in Bareilly, which is a small town, which you will realize when you go to India.
Right, so accompanying her words with her gestures. A small town.
It's a small town.
But I think for the audience that's listening, it can just help them absorb that message just a little bit easier. See what I did there? I didn't even mean to do that. Just a little bit easier. So it's like that extra visual aid that can help you digest and absorb that message.
It's a small town. Thing is, I've got spoiled since I've come to America. We don't have a concept of weekends in India. So I was just like, yeah, we work 7 days a week. And now I have 2 days off. So I'm like, it's such a first world problem to have.
So it's funny because before I thought Priyanka was sort of looking away, potentially because she might have been slightly awkward or uncomfortable or just sort of getting used to her surroundings. But now that the interview sort of kicked in, I'm thinking maybe it's just she's very aware, she's hyper aware that the audience is there. I'm assuming there's an audience there, and she's taking the time to acknowledge that the audience is there. She's just showing her spatial and emotional awareness, I think. So that's good to see from a communication perspective as well.
Except of weekends there, do they not take
We have Sundays, but Saturdays is a half day. So kids go to school for half a day.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, see their faces. Look at all of those faces.
And so you went
We have to work, you guys.
Again, right there, showing her awareness, right? She's kind of tuned in not only to Chelsea, but to the audience as well.
I see their faces.
If we're doing a public speaking event or we're speaking to a group of people, we're just in conversation with a group of people, I think that's something we can take away right there, right? Just being aware of how other people react to what we're saying and then acknowledging how they react. And I think Priyanka did a good job at that there. She realized that that comment elicited a certain reaction in her audience. And not only did she realize that, she pointed it out.
I see their faces.
And what does that do? It makes your audience feel involved. It makes them feel a part of the conversation.
When you go to, by sheer population, so when you go to India, you'll encounter most people that speak English. It's my first language is Hindi and English.
And how many other languages do you speak?
None.
Good for you.
I can wing a lot more. I can fake Spanish, fake
You can?
French, just a little bit.
Really? It's hard to fake a
Hablo
language.
poquito español. Like I know, like I can pepper it so people.
She seems very personable and very fun. I can't get over the gesture thing. Maybe it's unconscious, but she's able to match up her words really accurately with her gestures.
Pepper it so people get impressed.
You know, just like peppering, and before she said balancing. And you can't help but be drawn to her in a way. Like, she is very engaging, and I think a big part of her being engaging is her gesturing. And I think the gesturing also subconsciously shows that she's confident in what she's saying.
And then I was looking at Robert De Niro, I'm like, and then I emailed Zach, I'm like, Robert De Niro might have a better body than you. And he's like in his 70s. And he's like, that guy is badass. He works out all the time. But then Dwayne Johnson, I mean, that's a whole other level of body.
Some other level. Craziness.
So, like,
I mean,
Yeah, she's tuned into the conversation. Very charming, very polished, really knows how to conduct herself socially. She's showing signs that she's actively listening and tuned in to Chelsea.
badass. He works out all the time. But then,
Really sort of paraphrasing what she's saying.
I mean, that's a whole other level of body.
some other level.
She's got all the social cues down. Yeah, just super expressive. I think that's the big takeaway so far. Super expressive.
Craziness.
So, like,
I mean, his biceps the size of me.
yeah. And he's like
Animated, I think is a good word for Priyanka. Animated, but not dominating. Still understands how to sort of manage the flow of the conversation in terms of, okay, it's my turn to speak. I'm happy to speak. I have no problem being in the spotlight and delivering my message in a charming way. And also, hey, if you're speaking, I'm right there with you. I'm engaged.
nicest guy in the world,
So
right?
nice.
Yeah, he's really nice.
My mom was on set one day, and he walks all the way over to her, and he's like, "What can I get you? Anybody needs anything?" My mom was so like, she was so touched. He was just such a nice guy. Like really, not for the cameras.
So you presented at the Oscars this year.
I'm sure Priyanka's a little different off camera, not in front of an audience. I'm sure she's still incredibly nice, but I'm sure there's like a in the moment type of Priyanka, because even there at the end, you heard a cheer and Priyanka
So you presented,
very quick to acknowledge that cheer in the audience. So she's just hyper aware of her surroundings, which is generally a sign of someone who's potentially more adept socially.
cute. I mean, it's better to come to Hollywood and not know anybody.
Why?
Because otherwise you're intimidated, and you know, when you meet somebody, it's better to not know anybody, I always think, because otherwise you have nothing to be nervous about. You know, if you have to impress a certain person,
Yeah.
True.
or maybe it is good. It might be good in certain like political situations.
Kind of like Chelsea. I kind of like Chelsea. She's a bit wacky, you know? I like her. I just think she's her. She kind of challenges the status quo a little of your typical talk show host.
I should give you a lowdown before you go to India.
Yeah,
that
you
reminds
need,
me.
you need to give me a cheat sheet.
Yeah, let me
of
just give you.
things-
These are the people you need to know. Do not mess this up.
Right, and I don't want to do anything that's offensive. So any major thing that's offensive.
Good luck with that.
But Priyanka's quick, right? She's answered like really quickly sometimes, like very witty.
Hi. Oh, this is a new move he's doing, or I guess he's trying to take control. You can.
I love how she has her dog there.
And I want to thank you very much for being
Thank you
here.
for having me. Thank you.
I think Priyanka did great there. That was my very first time watching her. I'm impressed with her communication skills. Definitely knows how to present herself in a charming, polished, pleasant way. That's Priyanka Chopra. And who knows, maybe I'll do Nick Jonas next. Guys, if you want to watch the uncut version of this reaction, plus all my uncut reactions and tons of exclusive content, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. You can click on the link below in my description. Other than that, thanks for being here. My name is Max. I will catch you soon.